So I grew up fishing on this river, and my dad grew up fishing on this river. He grew up just around the corner from where we're at now, and now my son's growing up fishing on this river as well. It's close to home. We come down quite often, and it's a big part of what we do. So we fish all the way up to the headwaters. I took the boys right up to the springs this winter, and it's a valued resource for us. Having a gravel pit that threatens the headwaters of of our resource that we spend so much time on and value is a big concern for us.
And I think what I'm going to tie on is, for some reason they really like black leeches, so I might actually tie on this thing here. It's got a deer hair head, it's got a couple hooks on it and some flashaboo in the tail there, so it moves a lot of water with the head there and creates a disturbance that the pike might key in on. I'll start out with that one. There's a nice brown. Might have to come down below me here. You ready? Get right underneath them. Right underneath them. Oh, missed them. You're underneath them. Good job. Fat. Holy smokes. He's a bit of a... He's been eating a few stoneflies this spring.
It's a pike.
This one's a good one to keep. He's already bleeding, so we'll be filleting this one for supper. Landon, are you excited about that? So, well, pike again were a native species in the Raven before the brown trout were stocked. So, they were here first, a natural species, but ever since I was a kid, there's always been pike and browns coexisting in the Raven and the North Raven. But there's there's a balance. Sometimes the pike population's up and sometimes the brown trout population is up, and it's kind of a balancing act. And since you can't legally keep a brown, right now you can keep a 3 pike of any size. Flip it over, and this is the stomach. Oh, there's a fish in there. Let's see what he's been eating. This is always an interesting thing for anglers, is to see what... It's a brown trout.
It's a brown trout.
See, there's the orange spots. So this one's been feasting upon Salamo trutta for supper. Yeah, growing up on a creek like the North Raven or the Raven or the Red Deer, you kind of get attached to some of the recreational activities that you did as a kid on here. We were swimming in the creek and skating on the creek in the winter, and of course fishing, and that's where I kind of learned my brown trout fishing is on the Raven. So it's we've been fishing it for, my family's been fishing it for 60 or 70 years already. So anything could happen to those springs. If the flow was diverted or it got warmer, this it's got great water quality right now, where the ACA and Alberta Fish and Game and a lot of other, and Trout Unlimited, have spent a lot of effort to keep the livestock producers out of the stream, and with the stream bank fencing, and they've it's been 35 or 40 years worth of conservation work. So to lose that for one gravel pit would be quite a shame. And this river supports a fairly diverse bug community, and it doesn't take much to shift the water quality to where some of these insects might have trouble surviving. When the first projects went in on the Raven and the North Raven, the neighbors upstream and downstream of the fencing projects noticed that the creek looked a lot healthier, and that kind of synergy actually got majority of the North Raven fenced from the headwaters down to where it goes into the Raven. And a lot of people even took their own funds and private money and built off-site waters for the cattle, and also they put the time in to do the fencing, and it pays off. Water quality's improved for the cattle, and it's a much more natural place than having muddy banks going down to the river. So it's the goods and services, the natural goods and services, is a real benefit to being a land steward along the riparian areas on these precious streams.